the statement of the Gemara, I think, was made. Well, the intention of the lashon of the Talmud, I think, should be understood as follows: What does that mean? In order not to have any no understanding of between these two concepts, you have to be truly shikor kalot. You have to be completely drunk, and that's not what we mean. What it means to say is the whole story of Purim, the events of Purim, the Megillah, teaches us that even in the most apparently mundane and earthly goings on and machinations, political machinations, and all the rivalries and all the planning and various actions that different people and different factions plot and plan against each other, and all that goes on in the world around us, which is seemingly random and without any direction or purpose. Hashem is always behind the scenes, is always fine-tuning and directing events. And the whole Megillah teaches us this lesson. We see in the Megillah all kinds of goings on. We hear about a banquet and Vashti did this and she didn't do that, and she ended up being replaced, and it ended up being Esther, and then such and such happened, and Mordechai happened to be aware of a certain plot, and he happened to mention it to Esther, and Esther mentioned it to Ahasuerus, and eventually this led to all the other events with which we are all familiar. In other words, apparently on the surface, there's no connection between all these events. They're entirely random, happenstance, and these things, could have happened this way or that way. The whole purpose is to tell us that that Hashem is always behind the scenes, and we must never despair. And Hashem is always, even sometimes the most unlikely and some even incredible places or situations and scenarios, such as the Persian court, which is a very non-Torah place. Not everything that we read in the Megillah tells us that the Persian court and the goings on there and the people that one ran into on a daily basis there were not exactly the kind of people that we would want to, a Torah Jew would want to spend his time with or be involved with and have to even meet on a daily basis. But even there, Hashem directs events when the Jewish people are concerned, or they are involved, and Lema'aseh, we are involved in almost everything that goes on. And if you don't believe me, look at the newspapers all around the world every day of the year, every year. Israel's always mentioned there for some reason on page 1 or page 2. Whatever's going on, we're always uppermost in everybody's minds, because somehow we're always involved, for either for good or for bad, or in the eyes and the minds of others, either for good or for bad. But we're always there. So everything is to be, all the things that we see going on around us, all the events, historical events, political events, ups and downs, disappointments, and more apparently successful or happier occurrences. All these things fit into Hashem's plan, and we cannot always see this, not immediately, and sometimes not for a very long time, or perhaps never. But the Megillah teaches us that this is always the case, and therefore, drink. Now, what has it got to do with drinking? Drinking a moderate amount of alcohol has this effect of opening one's mind to seeing things in a slightly different light, to being able to perceive things in a way which one is perhaps less likely to be able to perceive. It's conducive to broadening one's perspective. As Rava says in Masechet Sanhedrin, the Talmud Bavli Daf Ayin, Hamra v'rehane pakhin, wine and fragrant substances literally added to my wisdom. In other words, these these physical and special materials, these substances have an effect, can have a positive effect on the mind, on one's perception, on one's thoughts, and it depends a lot on the person. These things tend to do, they bring out that which is hidden perhaps a little bit beneath the surface of the person. So if you give alcohol to your average Tom, Dick, or Harry, it tends to bring out very frequently negative things, because that's what's lurking just beneath the surface. And when that same substance is used by a Torah Jew, it does not bring out those same things. And if it does, or if it seems to, then that's the best proof that person should not be engaging in such practices at this point. That the person still has a way to go before allowing himself to partake of such things.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org. If you are inspired by Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to get involved in Torah Eretz Yisrael activities in your local area, please fill out the relevant form by going to the link which appears on the screen.